Okay, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
It's Some Dumb Guy. I have some dumb stuff. I have some dumb things. Would you like to see what? Because I got this plethora of packaging overwhelming my mailbox when I got home from work today. Let's share. Starting my first ever purchase from Bull Moose via Amazon. I know Bull Moose has brick and mortar stores over on the East Coast. Never shopped with them before, obviously. I'm on the West Coast. So they have their own website. Anybody know? I have never looked. I never thought about it until just now. I was just shopping on Amazon for a specific product. They happen to have it listed used. You know what? This might be a new good source that I could look into for online shopping to replace half-price books whom I kicked to the curb recently. So I need another used seller that I can focus on to shift more of my attention away from Amazon to split with eBay. And I thought they might be a good candidate. So anybody knows personal experience dealing with them online, if they have a website, Word box. So as stated, this is a used release. Inspection time. So we got a slip cover with this, GRUVy, or not GRUVy, at least not yet. I've got an insert. It's got a little bit of a tear on it, or I should say a pamphlet. Let's see. Hey, buddy. What you doing? Should I just tell you the people? I guess not. He's cruising. He don't usually move very fast. He's a big boy. All right, let's see. So keep the ball rolling. This is a season of television. Disc 1 is immaculate. Disc 2 is immaculate. Disc 3, how about that? It's immaculate. Disc 4, immaculante. Is that a word? I don't know. Disc 5, you doing, checkers? Checking out my box. Is it a light scratch or a smudge? No, it's either immaculate or just shy. So that is disc 5. So the insert is solid, the case is solid. The only issue is the pamphlet. It's got a side insert, hard shell slipcover. It's got some indentations in it, but nothing I'd be concerned about as far as damage goes. However, big reveal time. We have season 2 of Terminator, not the Terminator. Sarah Connor Chronicles. I swear I can say that. There's Buddy. Here he is, Buddy. What you up to, my friend? I featured season 1 in an unboxing I picked up from eBay a couple weeks ago and purchased it under the mistaken impression that it was the complete series because I dumbassed. It's some dumb guy. What are you doing? You don't go chase after sugar. Anyway, so I figured, you know what? I better start keeping my eyes open for season 2. And I have found a good deal on it. Got it. Much better price than anything I was seeing on eBay, which was great. And condition is solid. So a very, very happy release or purchase, pick up, whatever you want to call it right there. Yeah, okay. Next up, let's see what we got here. Deep discount. One of my new favorites. Moving up the ranks here for me very quickly, with one notable exception, or two notable exceptions, but one of them has been revised. So I think recently I discussed I had 2 problems with deep discount. The first being that their wish list did not include images, which made shopping through it a little more difficult when you're just looking at titles. It wasn't clicking for me, and I have a 13-page wish list. Well, I reached out to them and kind of like, hey, you're never going to bring this back. You used to have images. You don't have images anymore. They responded, well, hey, we'll pass that along, but there's no plans as of yet. So 2-3 days ago, I popped onto the site, and guess what? Images have returned, despite them telling me that they have no plans to do so. So we're going to eliminate that, which really leads me to my only remaining problem, which is a bigger deal because it's led me down a bad path 2 or 3 times now. Sugar, where are you going? And that is, unlike other sites I can shop from, when I take something from my wish list and add it to my cart and check out, one of a couple things doesn't happen. One, it doesn't automatically get removed from my wish list when I check out, like on Amazon, which is very handy. Or 2, as in the case of, like, let's say Kino Lorber's website, if you've purchased it and it's still in your wish list, as you're scrolling through your wish list, there'll be a little notation there. Hey, guess what? You purchased this on such and such date. It's very handy. Deep discount doesn't do either of those things, which is now, straw, has now caused me a problem twice where I have duplicated titles that I've purchased from them, like in back-to-back purchases. So it's like I've made a second purchase of the exact same title before I've even received the first one, and not aware of it. And this first presentation is going to be one of those. I have another order pending. And it's got the exact same title there because it didn't pull it out of the wish list. So now, when I'm shopping on there, anytime I take something from my wish list and add to my cart, I remove it from my wish list. If for some reason I don't check out, I'll put it back in. But I'm going to have to take extra precautions because any money now I'm saving, unless I'm able to turn around and resell these things at the same price or better than I paid for them, I'm not saving any money by dealing with them over Amazon anymore, and that stinks. So, 1948, this one had 126 minutes. Looks colorized based on the single image here. We have been watching this one for a while and need to pick it up. This is a Warner Archives release of The Three Musketeers. And as my regular viewers will be aware, I will often just grab up pretty much anything Alexander Dumas related. This one stars Lana Turner, Gene Kelly, June Allison, Van Heflin, and Angela Lansbury, also with Frank Morgan, Vincent Price, Keenan Wynn, John Sutton, and Gig Young. Okay. A couple of familiar names there. I don't know how well this one has been received historically. I know nothing about it whatsoever, other than it's an adaptation of The Three Musketeers. I must have it. And now I do. Next up. This is going to be continuing something I started, I think, from them as well. It'll be like the second edition in a pair of silent films. From 1926, it's 76 minutes. This is a DVD, but it's the only way it's available. Harry Langdon in The Strong Man, directed by Frank Capra. So I'm very nearing, I think, a point of completion on the horizon for my Frank Capra library. I have to do a count, but I think I might have something along the lines of maybe 5 titles left in his filmography as far as what's available that you can get. But this completes from my last, I think, unboxing I did. Long Pants, also starring Harry Langdon. It's the Silent Classics collection these both come from, both directed by Mr. Capra. Must remind myself not to neglect the silent films now that I've learned to indulge in those and enjoy them. I'm a little concerned about the quality, though, after indulging in that. That's like, no, I'm going back to DVD. It's like, ooh, that could go bad. We have another Warner Archive collection release. This one from 1950, black and white at 110 minutes. It is Stage Fright from Alfred Hitchcock. It's one I had never heard of until recently, and it's one of 2 titles that I'm aware of that he had a Warner Archive release on. I have them both on watch. We'll pull the trigger at some point on the other one. Jane Wyman, Marlene Dietrich, Michael Wilding, Richard Todd. Hands that applaud can also kill. Yes, they can. I know nothing about this title, but much like Mr. Frank Capra, Mr. Alfred Hitchcock is basically just a must-buy on demand. No exceptions. Want them their filmography into my library, so yeah. I'm gonna have to check my Blu-ray.com theatrical watch list because I know I saw this film in the theater and it's the only time I've ever seen it. This is from 2008. Wow, really? Whew. Didn't realize it went that far back. 2 hours. This is a movie that really should not have worked for what it is, but somehow I found it entertaining and decided to grab it. This is Tom Cruise's Valkyrie. Is Tom Cruise convincing as a German Nazi officer? Absolutely not. Is any of this convincing as a true life story? Absolutely not. However, somehow this manages to be an entertaining war thriller. And I was able to enjoy it as that. And even going into the film, I recall going in with trepidation. Because I'm like, you know what? I just don't see how this is going to work. It's silly. But, you know, I like to be open-minded when I can. So I went in and I was like, okay, well, guess what? I enjoyed this. So, you know what? Why not? And, you know, Tom Cruise is almost always a win for me. There's just a handful of movies of his, small handful, that I won't watch. And only think maybe one in my life I can think of that I didn't enjoy. So, anyway, moving on to GRUVy. What do we got? No, you go that way. Okay, Blu-ray. What we got here from 1984 at 114 minutes. We continue to expand the Clint Eastwood library with, it says a tightrope. It's reading it backwards. It's an interesting insert design, artwork design. There's a couple releases I think I picked up on GRUVy of Clint Eastwood's that have the same kind of like tone, imagery, whatever you want to call it. You know, certain studios will release batches of movies, older movies, like from a specific actor or director or whatever, and they'll theme up the inserts for that particular batch of releases, and I think they did something like that with some of these Eastwood titles. Big thick envelope here. Interestingly enough, something that's very strange with me, or to me, with GRUVy. This envelope here comes from GRUVy, says it's GRUVy Entertainment, gives an address. Cool, okay. This envelope, on the other hand, doesn't come from GRUVy. It comes from SDS, which is Studio Distribution Services. Hi, Sugar. E-commerce, SDS, e-commerce, but it's the exact same address. It's very interesting why sometimes they say GRUVy and sometimes they say SDS. I don't understand, no rhyme or reason behind that. This one by itself is a Warner Brothers title. I don't know if that plays a role. I'm confused. Ooh, happy day, happy day, happy day. I'm glad this one slipped out first. Just reached in and it was kind of poking up and just... I was expecting this to take a little bit longer, given it's a pre-order 4K release. I initially pre-ordered it through Amazon and then realized, hey, you know what? GRUVy has this pre-order for the same price, or maybe it's $1 cheaper. So I canceled the Amazon pre-order, threw it in my GRUVy order, checked out. Now, I had a collection of purchases that were regular releases and one pre-order. So the regular release is shipped, pre-order was being held until release date, and I'd always been on the impression, for some reason, that when you make a purchase through GRUVy, whether it's a regular order or pre-order, they charge at the time of purchase, not like Amazon does at the time of shipment. So I get my batch in. 3, 4, 5 days after that, I get an email from them saying, hey, your payment process or your card or whatever has been declined. It's not working. Like, they've done this to me a handful of times. I don't understand why. I always pay with my debit card. Money in the account. There's no problem there. And they just, every now and then, I've never had it happen with any other vendor. I go back and forth with them. I'm like, no, you're first. So I've already received the order. They're like, oh, no, that was already shipped out. Your pre-order has not shipped yet. We need to charge for that. I go, okay, well, it's like you're telling me in the email that I need to change my payment method to process the order, but there's no means in which I can do that on your website. And they're like, no, we have to cancel it and you have to reorder. I'm like, ooh, since I have to reorder, hi, Sugar. I felt like that was going to delay my delivery considerably because I thought this was going to be a popular title and I'm going to lose my place in line basically. But so I canceled it and changed my card on file and added this pre-order to another purchase I made. And unfortunately, that was right around the time it was ready to ship. So very long story long, what we end up with is cue saxophone, the 4K release of Lethal Weapon, long time in coming. Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, theatrical and director's cuts on 4K. I don't like the fact that they put both cuts on one disc. This is discussed by a lot of people in detail that because 4K files are so large that putting two cuts on a film, unless they do, I think they call it seamless branching or something, to where the theatrical cut of the film is the main file and then the additional or change scenes are like a separate file on the disc but smaller and just individual scenes that just get inserted where they need to be as you're watching, rather than having two full individual movies on one disc, which takes up a lot of space, particularly in the 4K format. So in a lot of cases, when you have two cuts of a movie, you're really kind of ideally hoping you get two different discs. And in a case like this, you would usually get the theatrical release on 4K, and then there'd be an accompanying Blu-ray where they'd have the extended cut, which also a lot of people have a problem with, understandably so. If you're going to buy a 4K release of a film, you'd like it to be 4K, not like, oh, we're going to put this cut in 4K and this other cut that's not the official cut, we're going to put that on Blu-ray. It's like, really? 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 I'm buying this on 4K. Next up, shall we? Shut, buddy. Sugar's not wanting to play. She's just trying to jump away from you. Heck. Anyway, back to the movies. 2-pack, Blu-ray, semi-blind buy. My movie and a sequel from 1978 and 1980. 114 minutes and 116 minutes respectively. We have old release, judging by this here, Clint Eastwood's Every Which Way But Loose and Every Which Way You Can. I have no recollection of what little I've seen of one or either of these movies. None really whatsoever. Whatever I did see, I saw as a kid. Kid me didn't quite click with whatever that was. So of all the Clint Eastwood titles that I was conscious of when I began collecting his library or his filmography, this is the one, or these were the ones that I was most hesitant to want to add to the library. But again, I like to be open-minded. I know my tastes have expanded an inch or two since I was a wee SumDumb kid. And I said, you know what? It's not fair to judge based on childhood recollections. I need something more. So I did it. I got a good price on it. We'll see how it goes. What we got next here? 1993, 138 minutes. This is... I remember this came out, but I never saw it. A Perfect World, starring Clint Eastwood and Kevin Costner. Or Kevin Costner and Clint Eastwood. Period piece, obviously. I remember seeing trailers for it. I'm aware of its existence. Never saw it. Don't really know anything about what it's about. I don't see how you can go wrong with Costner and Eastwood, though. That sounds like quite a combo. Looks like Laura Linney is also in this film. Or Laura Dern, excuse me. Here's a still image of her. I don't know who else. I don't know what. That's okay. We find out. Me senses a theme. Not Blind Buy from 2004. God, wow, it's been 21 years already. 132 minutes. Clint Eastwood, Hilary Swank, Morgan Freeman. You know what it is. Most people would. A very powerful drama. $1 Million Baby. I have no idea, even after seeing it, or what I recall seeing it, what the title references. Does anybody know what this title of this film is supposed to be about, what it represents? Because I'm clueless. I just remember enjoying this film. I decided it popped up. I'm guessing, not recalling that, shut up, buddy, relax, buddy. Having this vague impression that maybe GRUVy had a Clint Eastwood sale. Because from 1977, at 109 minutes, we have Clint Eastwood in The Gauntlet. There should be right there. Anybody else in this thing of note? Sandra Locke, there's a name I recognize, but I don't think I know her. So what I was talking about as far as themed artwork releases, give her the damn glare. You know, the imagery, the slanted font titles, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was a thing. Another older release based on artwork here, but it's another 2-pack. We have from 1982 and 1986. Don't see run times listed here. He's okay, it don't much matter. We have Foxfire and Heartbreak Ridge. Let me see. Heartbreak Ridge was 1986. I remember that coming out. Foxfire, I was too young to recall its release. I'm not even sure I was consciously aware of the film. But, yeah, GRUVy must have had a Clint Eastwood sale. They've had a couple since I've been shopping with them. I think they've had like a birthday sale and all kinds of stuff periodically. But this one, they had a really great selection of Blu-rays that I did not own. So, you know what? Yeah, same thing here. It's like you see that top Blu-ray curvature. It's always in. There's different variations of it. But it's always indicative of her older Blu-ray releases. Biggins. Thank you once again for joining me on my rants and rambles and animals adventures. My stuff and my things. What did you think about my pickups? Wordbox? What have you picked up for your own personal library? Wordbox? Say hi to Sugar and Buddy. Wordbox. Good night and see you in my next video.
Alan.